Hello, everyone, and welcome to Total Packers with Matt LaFleur, Larry McCarren, along with the head coach of the Green Bay Packers. And Matt, right after your win over Washington, we do a little radio deal. And when I saw you then, I thought, there's a head coach who's already turned the page to the next game, and with good reason. Had you turned the page?
Yeah, there's not too much time to enjoy those victories when you have a Thursday night game. Your prep for that game starts immediately after your last game.
Of course, when you're talking about the Arizona Cardinals, the talk begins with Kyler Murray, their quarterback. What can you tell us about him?
Well, he's a dynamic player, and he is capable of beating you both inside and outside of the pocket. He does a really good job of keeping plays alive, obviously, and he's looking to throw the ball downfield, and they've got some pretty darn good targets to throw the ball to.
Speaking of which, DeAndre Hopkins, A.J. Green, and they recently added Zach Ertz to the party. What does he bring to the Cardinal situation?
Well, you talk about three experienced guys that have done it at a really high level. And then not to mention, you got Christian Kirk and Rondale Moore. So, they are a loaded offense. They've got backs, tight ends, wide receivers. It's going to be a great challenge for not only our football team, but specifically for our defense.
Well, speaking of their defense, is it more than J.J. Watt? How are they getting it done on that side of the ball?
Oh, yeah. A lot of stars there, too. You got Chandler Jones and Buda Baker. And so they've got experienced players really on all three levels. And they play fast. They play physical. They're a little unconventional in some of the looks that they give you. So it's going to be very imperative that our guys communicate well and that we get everybody on the same page.
Matt, in addition to a short week, you are dealing with a COVID situation. How challenging is that?
Nothing like a little adversity, Larry. So, yeah, anytime you're losing one of your play callers or defensive coordinator, you just got to make the best of it. So we have a good plan in place, and I expect there to be no drop-off.
Matt, if you don't mind, let's go back to the victory over the Washington game now. And what are your biggest takeaways from that win?
Well, certainly how well our defense played. To hold the team 0 for 4 in the red zone, we did pretty well on third down. I think they were like 33%. Certainly Washington was able to get some big explosive plays that we have to do a better job on. But I thought all in all, our defense was physical for 4 quarters. We affected the quarterback, and it was a really good performance.
Matt, going into the game, the Washington football team had allowed just 6 sacks all season, and you guys hit them for 4. Were you really pleased with the pass rush?
Yeah, I thought our pass rush, especially, it was timely when we needed it. There were certainly some times where we got out of our rush lanes and their quarterback was able to scramble for some big plays that we have to do a better job on, no doubt about it. But I thought all in all, especially to start the second half, to get the sack fumble by Rashawn Gary, that was just a pivotal play in the game.
Matt, offensively speaking, you did more throwing than running. Can you talk about that approach?
Yeah, it was just one of those deals where there were certainly more runs called, but Aaron took advantage of some looks that had run alerts on, and he was letting it rip out there. And it's hard to tell a guy like Aaron Rodgers not to throw the football. He's pretty special. So we're going to allow him to take advantage of any of the looks that he sees.
Thank you, Matt. Coming up, a visit with Allen Lazard. But first, let's revisit a special moment from last week between Aaron Jones and the Packers' head athletic trainer, Brian Flea Engel.
Hey, what's up? This is Aaron Jones, Green Bay Packers running back. As many of you may know my story about my father's ashes, today I'm here to surprise my boy Flea. Got him some scooters, just a small token of my appreciation for all the hard work he does and just going back out there late at night to find it. So I got you these birds.
Oh, you don't have to do that.
All the dedication and everything, I got them for you and your family. So
you don't have to do
all
that.
of you guys can ride together.
Oh, thank you.
We're riding, Flea.
You need a helmet.
Flea would say you need a helmet.
Appreciate you. Yeah, sorry, I love you. You don't have to do that. No, it's all love. Thank you.
Yeah.
Total Packers with Matt LaFleur is brought to you by your local Chevy dealers, by Bellum Health, and by Johnsonville. Welcome back. This one-on-one is brought to you by Pothole Frozen Pizza from Quick Trip. Among the roster moves made by the Packers this week was the addition of wide receiver Allen Lazard to the reserve COVID-19 list on Tuesday. Prior to that move, we had a virtual sit-down with Allen to talk about his big game against Washington. Allen, against the Washington football team, you have 5 catches for 60 yards and a touchdown, and they all come in one series right before the half. What is going on?
You know, right before the half, I think that's when we really strive as an offense. 2-minute situations, end of half, end of game. We do a great job of communicating and executing in those periods of time. It just happened to be that, you know, I was the hot hand in that moment. Aaron kept finding me, being able to convert, keep the chains moving. And, you know, we were obviously very thankful to be able to captivate the drive with a nice little back shoulder touchdown.
Talk about that back shoulder catch. Normally you see that kind of pass and catch on the sideline, but you were in from the sideline. Was that the way that play is designed, or was that an impromptu thing?
It's definitely an impromptu thing. We got a zero coverage look. Really, they were doubling Devontae, so they had an extra guy over there on the other side of the field. But on our side, it was basically zero coverage. There's no help over the top. So Aaron just, you know, took kind of a quick game footstep, put a little touch on the ball, so I was able to have time to be able to track it as he threw it back shoulder, and we were able to connect and make a great play.
Right side spinning grab, Lazard, touchdown, Green Bay!
Allen, the program lists you at 6'5", 227. Do corners, no corner in the universe is that big. Do they ever say this isn't fair, you should not be this big?
You know, by their demeanor after the play, it feels like it. They don't ever verbally communicate that to me, but it definitely feels like that after, especially the 12 duos, the 13 duos, the inserts. You know, when I'm blocking some of the DNs and safeties inside the box, it definitely gets physical in there, and I definitely like to use my size, height, and weight to my advantage.
If you could you talk to me, how do you go about getting deep? What's the secret to that?
I think for me and my size and the way that I play, a style of play, of physicality, people undermine my able to get on top of them and to take off the top foot with my speed. What I'm able to do in the quick game and short yardage routes helps me set up my deep ball package, deep ball routes that I like to run.
Allen, could you talk to us about how you will handle or have handled the short week? How do you get yourself ready and at the bit, ready to play a game on Thursday night?
Going into the Washington game, knowing that we had 2 games within 11 days and really 2 games now within 5 days, the physical and mental preparation has to start before then. So I think our coaches, our staff, you know, our team has done a great job preparing, not only physically, but mentally as well, of how to go about training and getting prepared for the game Thursday night.
Allen, last thing for you. Do you think this team, this current Green Bay Packer team, does it have the mystical it to go all the way?
Come on, Larry, we both know the answer to that question. Absolutely, absolutely, especially when we got 12 back there. We're a healthy team, clicking on all units. We're definitely one of the best in the league, if not the best.
All right, dumb question, but best of luck to you the rest of the way. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Larry, appreciate you.
Before the break, let's look back at last Saturday when Packer legend Bart Starr was honored with the dedication of a bridge in his name right here in Green Bay.
This is a great day in the history of Green Bay. We're honoring Bart Starr, the athlete, Bart Starr, the man, and Bart Starr, the philanthropist.
Bart was a legend on the field, but he is also an exceptional individual off the field. Proud to know that this bridge will stand for generations, reminding folks every day as they drive across it to be more like Bart Starr, and that is hardworking, generous, and to love your community.
It's a bridge, it's permanent.
It's the connector of people, and it provides humble service. And those are three things that Bart and Cherry have spent their life doing and providing to the city of Green Bay and this community.
I'm so grateful and honored to be here for this beautiful occasion. And thank all of you for being here. And just as it was for Bart, Green Bay will always have a place in my heart. Thank you so much.
Welcome back. This week's Chalk Talk is brought to you by Network Health. In its first 6 games, the Washington football team allowed a grand total of 6 sacks. In one game against the Packers, it allowed 4. That deserves a closer look. Rashawn Gary gets the hit parade started, and he's working against former Bear Charles Leno. And the key to this rush is right here, the rip with the left arm. That gives Rashawn the power and leverage to squeeze around the corner, and then he has the closing speed to get home. Knocks the ball away, Dean Lowry plucks it out of the air, and that is a game-changing play. Rashawn's also involved in the next sack, and he's working a stunt with Kenny Clark. It's called a delayed ET, with the end going first and the tackle delaying and then looping around. Watch Kenny on the delay. He grabs that guard so the guard can't area block and slide out and take Rashawn. And Rashawn takes full advantage. He's in on Heineke, can't quite get him down, but Kingsley Keke enters the picture. How did he get there? Well, have you ever seen a 6'6", 330-pound man do the splits? You have now. And Kingsley and Rashawn end up sharing sack number 2. Next up, another stunt, a delayed TE with the tackle going first, in the end delaying and looping around, but this one is all about the tackle, Kingsley Keke. Watch him wipe those hands away, and then watch Kingsley use his hands, a number 72. Puts him in total control, and he walks Leno right back into Heineke's lap, and the official is going to blow this thing dead before Kingsley can inflict any further damage. That's just a great individual effort. Our last sack is all Dean Lowry. He's been bringing the power as of late, and he's been bringing it strong. Watch him. He knocks the guard back into the running back, who ends up on the ground. Then the guard ends up on the ground, and Dean comes in and puts Heineke in some kind of submission hold before Rashawn Gary storms in to seal the deal. 4 sacks for the Green Bay Packers, and if my math is correct, Gary had a hand in 3 of them.
I just finished week 7, still got a whole season, still got a lot to improve and get better in my game to help myself and help this defense, get to where we got to be. So, my head down is working. I'm not thinking about no success, what's happening. I'm taking it week by week, day by day, just trying to become the best player I can.
Total Packers with Matt LaFleur is brought to you by Network Health, by your Wisconsin Toyota dealers, and by Ticketmaster.
I am Jason Vrabel, the wide receivers coach with the Green Bay Packers. My mom, her name was Connie Vrabel, unselfish woman, always was a giving, caring person, trying to help out everyone. My mom was losing a little bit of weight, so they kept doing tests. Well, she went and they diagnosed her with stage 4 appendix cancer. It was really tough on our family and us to hear the stage 4 words, that you just know that it's going to be a battle to try to make it. My dad was always there for her. He was the strongest person of us all, by our side for the last 2 years in every which way as much as he could, but with all the surgeries and all the chemo, she just, couldn't fight it anymore, and, it took her life. It's so hard to even explain, when you see a healthy person and 2 years later, kind of what my mom looked like and everything that she went through. It was really hard on our entire family. I love her, I miss her. For anybody out there dealing with this, lean on others and just love each other, you know, because, you know, treat people nice, you just never know what's going to be the last time.
The Packers and Bellin Health are featuring exclusive hats for Packers versus Cancer. Join the fight today and help the Vince Lombardi Cancer Foundation make an impact in the fight against cancer. Visit PackersProShop.com today. Welcome back. Time to hand out game balls. And Matt, on offense, you went with some of those receivers you were spreading the ball around to, Bobby Tunyon and Allen Lazard.
Yeah, both of those guys came up big for us, took advantage of their opportunities. I know they haven't had a lot of them this year, but they certainly did a great job on Sunday.
And on defense, you go with some of those pass rushers, Rashawn Gary, who was like the beast of the afternoon, and Dean Lowry.
Yeah, both those guys did an outstanding job, you know, and that's going to be important for us, certainly, especially coming up in this game when you got a quarterback that can get loose and make those off-schedule plays. We need a great effort from those guys again.
Special teams-wise, what can you say about Corey Bojorquez? I mean, what an addition to your football team.
Oh, he's been so consistent and so great. Just some big-time punts when we're backed up, being able to hit a 52-yarder with no return, with great hang time, and then you couldn't have placed that one when we were kicking into the end zone that he put literally inches or centimeters from the goal line. And to be able to down that on the 3-yard line, those were two critical punts.
Absolutely. Thank you, Matt. Coming up, the last word from the coach. Don't go away. The Packers continue to pad their NFC North Division lead, which now stands at 2.5 games. Matt LaFleur is looking for his 7th straight victory on Thursday, which would match his longest winning streak as head coach. Total Packers with Matt LaFleur is brought to you by Fabic Cat, proud sponsor of the Green Bay Packers. The Last Word with Matt LaFleur is brought to you by Construction Business Group and Wisconsin Operating Engineers. Welcome back. Time for the last word from the coach. And Matt, what can you tell us about how you will manage this short week?
Well, it's going to be a lot of mental repetitions. You know, we don't really have a real physical full practice, so everything will be walked through and jogged through, and our guys are going to have to transition, and that's just the reality. But it's the same for both teams.
Matt, have you been doing this long enough where, let's face it, this is 6-1 versus 7-0. It might be the game of the season to date. Do you get kind of fired up for stuff like that, or is it just another day at the office?
Well, you try to ride the wave a little bit, Larry, and try to keep an even keel about it. But the reality is, I mean, we're the only game on TV. And so I think the guys naturally get up for these primetime games, and especially when you're going against, right now, the top team in the National Football League. So it's going to be a great opportunity to see where we are as a football team.
Thank you, Matt. Good luck in Arizona. And thank you for watching. Until next time, take care.